Hey guys, I'm Matt, the South Coast Kook, just a kook that loves to chat about all things surfing. And today on the show, I got Tom from Sunbutter. How you going, mate?
Yeah, super good. Thanks, Matt. Stoked to be here.
Thank you for jumping on the show. I thought I'd let you introduce yourself to start off with.
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm Tom. I'm obviously English, but been in Australia now nearly a decade, and I'm one of the founders of Sunbutter Skincare. Sunbutter Skincare is Australia's first reef-safe plastic packaging-free sunscreen. We're a carbon neutral business, donate 50% of our profits to the planet. And yeah, just got a nice range of earth-safe, ocean-safe sunscreen and skincare.
Nice, man. Well, I want to know a little bit about your surfing history. Are you a surfer?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, it's a really funny one actually. I grew up in England, like down on the southwest coast in Cornwall and Devon, and like did a lot of rock climbing when I was younger, and like would dabble in the surf, but not too much. And then I met my soon-to-be wife on the Ningaloo Reef over in WA, and she told me that she'd love me more if I could surf better. This was like 7 years ago, and yeah, I've just kind of been on like a crusade ever since, really. And yeah, now I'm fully in love with it, and I'm the one that drags her out surfing. And we actually have kind of like split our surfing. She's a really beautiful male rider, and I'm kind of like much more of a short boarder. Got like a beautiful 6'3" thruster from a local shaper that I adore. And yeah, it's kind of backfired a bit because instead of us just like riding cute males together, I'm now off on our back beaches, and she's sort of looking for those long nose rides and things like that. So
Yeah,
love a surf.
So who's the local shaper?
I've got a couple. I've got a young guy called Jack Tricky who makes really like fun, funky boards, like channel bottoms, keel fins, that sort of thing. And then there's a guy I love his boards called Watto, Craig Watson from Bass Surf. And yeah, I've got a couple of boards from him, and they're dynamite, just so good.
Is there like a best wave of your life that sort of sticks in your head?
Yeah, it's really funny actually. Sash laughs at me. I'm like such a frother that she's like, man, every surf you've had this year, something better's happened. But I would probably say there was a wave on one of our back beaches, probably back in Feb, and I got my best barrel ever, which is like such a fun, kooky thing to say, but I don't really care. I was so happy. And there was no one out, and I was just surfing this bank on my own, and it was brilliant. And I got this perfect barrel, and just as I was coming to the end of it, I was full of stoke, and there was this guy at the end who I'd never met before, and he was just like losing his mind, double shackers. And I was like, this is brilliant. At least someone has witnessed this wave. No one will ever believe my story. And I'm definitely renowned for like exaggerating the truth sometimes, perhaps getting a bit carried away in the moment. Anyway, it turns out this guy, Mark, is like boyfriend of one of our really good friends. He turns up at the surf break the next day, and I'm like, my partner Sacha, I'm like, Sacha, that's the guy who saw me in the barrel. And he's like, oh my God, you're the guy from the insane barrel yesterday. And I think that's like a memorable wave, just because he's now a really good friend. We surf pretty regularly together, but to have someone validate it and like back up your tool story,
100%. I know that every time I get like a really good wave, I always like look over my shoulder. I'm like, man, I hope someone saw that because that was so sick.
Yeah, can relate 100%. Absolutely.
Where's your favorite place to surf?
Oh, mate, that's a little bit like giving away secrets.
Oh, okay. You don't have to.
It's the peninsula. We've got Melbourne an hour away, so everyone knows. Look, we're really, really fortunate down here that when the swell's massive, it pushes into Western Port Bay. There's a couple of like epic spots in there that I love, like Pines Beach. It gets so busy, but if you score it at like 10 o'clock on a Wednesday on a big swell when everyone else is at work, it can be really, really fun. And then if the swell's a bit smaller, we've got this whole stretch of back beaches that just get the whole ocean swell. And yeah, you can pretty much just like throw a dart at any of the back beaches, and if the banks are good, which they were last year, or the old boys are just raving about how good they were last week, then they're awesome. Like Guggenheimer is again like super popular. You know, surf cams and all this stuff on it, but when those banks are good, it's fun.
Yeah, sweet. And any overseas surf trips or just Australia?
We had a wicked trip to Indo pre-COVID. My father-in-law has like every winter does a little pilgrimage to Lembongan, and so he just lives out of playgrounds or lacerations out there. And we went and joined him for a few weeks, which was awesome. and then got really lucky to surf a couple of real fun waves in Mauritius. We used to work as wildlife guides and wildlife lecturers on expedition ships, and finished one in Mauritius, and scored some pretty fun waves. But last few years of lockdown and trying to run a small business, and waves are so good here, it's kind of hard to leave them.
Well, it's not much of a small business anymore. So let's talk about Sunbutter. Like, what is it?
Yeah, so it all started like 7 years ago. As I mentioned, Sacha and I were working as expedition guides and wildlife lecturers on these like small expedition trips. And I was heading off to PNG to lead like a marine-based one, so lots of snorkeling and diving, and just couldn't find any sunscreen that wasn't reef safe, because a lot of research was showing how harmful common sunscreen chemicals were. And obviously everything's like packaged in plastic, and the majority of sunscreen packaging you can't recycle. It's like 4 layers of plastic, different plastics meshed together, so it's really hard to recycle. And Sash just kind of cracked it and was like, no, I'm not letting you use any of these like toxic sunscreens on like pristine Papua New Guinea reefs. I'm going to make you some sunscreen. And so she did, and it was really good stuff. And then it kind of like caught on. Friends of ours on the Ningaloo wanted it, and then a few shops started contacting us, wanted to stock it, and we realized we'd sort of made this small business by mistake. And in Australia, sunscreen's classed as a medicine, so it's really tightly regulated. So we started working with a manufacturing partner to get like a truly reef safe option. And that was back in 2018, and it's just kind of taken off ever since. So we've got a few staff now and a big warehouse and ship worldwide and all these things.
So what's Sacha's background to just whip up a sunscreen?
Yeah, no, both of us come from like a conservation science background. So Sacha's background is marine biology, specializing in marine mammal acoustics, so like whales and dolphins talking to each other.
Which is pretty cool job.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, it's so fun. Like some of her stories out in the Perth Canyon and going across like the Great Australian Bight, studying southern right whales and things like that. And my background's in tropical coastal ecology, so kind of Melbourne's pretty cold for me. I like the equator. That's where I survive. I thrive. But Sacha's also half Swiss, and her mum is like always such a tinkerer in the kitchen. You know, like you wake up their house, New York, and her mum's like in her really, really cute sort of Swiss French accent. She's like, "Oh, no, Tom, hang on, drink this tea." And she's got teas and she's got potions and herbs and all these like amazing products she's made from like Switzerland. According to Sacha, her mum has like this real culture of sort of natural remedies and just like make it yourself and knowing like which sort of plants and things like that to use. So Sash was just like, hey, it's in my blood to make potions and sort of potter in the kitchen. So she just did some research and whipped up a batch, and it turned out to be really good. So really nice now to work with like a super regulated manufacturer to get it through all those like government bells and whistles and ticks and approvals and things like that. But at the start, just getting made in our mother-in-law's kitchen.
Is it, so this is your full-time gig now?
Yeah, we do a little bit of expedition work every now and then. I'm hoping to go to Antarctica in February and just talk about penguins and albatross.
Mate, you just told me you like the equator and you couldn't have gone any further away from it.
It's my last continent, and it's like one of the most pristine wildlife places on the planet. And I got offered a job heading down there to talk about penguins and albatross. So it's pretty far from the equator, but that amount of wildlife and that sort of rugged beauty is really cooling. But apart from that, we Sunbutter full time.
Yeah, sweet. Was it pretty hard to like, I don't know, like you went to uni, you studied and you did all that degrees to just like not throw it in, but sort of put that part of your life on pause?
It was kind of like quite a smooth transition, like we were working on the Ningaloo as whale shark guides, and Sacha's a underwater photographer. And then we kind of moved into this like expedition leading lifestyle where it's like usually short-term contracts, go for like 3 to 6 weeks, and then we might come back for a few months and just go and camp at our favorite surf break and sort of run this small but growing business. And then we've slowly just dropped those expedition trips that we go on, and just Sunbutter's increased. So and it's really fun. We get to run our own business, we get to give away as much profit as we can and to some awesome causes, and be our own bosses. So just kind of transition neatly. There's no like, boom, we stopped doing wildlife and conservation marine biology, and now with Sunbutter, we were like, a little bit more Sunbutter, a little bit more. Oh yeah, actually now it's a full-time job.
Yeah. Did you ever think like, because I watched your video and, you literally, like you said, started it in the kitchen with your mother-in-law's blender.
Yeah.
Did you think it was going to become this big?
Nah, no. It's just been like such a fun and entertaining journey. Like we made it for ourselves, and Sash was like giving these little like aluminium tins, very similar to what we package in now, where it's like friends and family, and some of them were kind of like, thanks. Cool. And others are like, loving it. And then, just friends started loving it. And, social media is so powerful. People are like, oh, I just got this Sunbutter from Tom and Sash. And, like when we had a few stores messaging us like, hey, are you Tom from Sunbutter? We'd love to stock your products. And we're like, it's not really a thing. It's just like we make it for ourselves. And so it's been pretty funny. And now to see where it's got to and where we go, it's pretty cool.
Was there many kinks at the start, or were you pretty much straight onto the secret recipe?
Oh, so many kinks. I'm English, obviously, so like no one wanted to work with me. It was really weird. Like we'd like call approved sunscreen manufacturing, like, hey, we want to do this, and they'd be like, nah, or they'd like see my email address back before we had like fancy Sunbutter emails and just be like, who is this guy? Nah, like we're good, thanks. We don't want your money. And then we had some hiccups with our initial packaging, like the samples of the first screw top tins we got were perfect, but the mass delivery, about 70% of them, the tin threads were too thin, so that the lids could just slide on and off, which is not ideal when people are like chucking it in bags and stuff. So that was a pretty expensive, devastating error. But we've just slowly ironed these kinks out, and we've been super fortunate to bump into some really cool like business mentors along the way. And my brother-in-law happens to be a commercial lawyer, so he's just such a useful font of knowledge and like legality and that sort of stuff. So
because I imagine there would be a fair few legal like jump ropes to get to, like to mass produce this kind of stuff, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, it's classed as a medicine, so it's also regulated by the TGA, the crew who do the vaccine regulations and stuff like that, and regulate any medication basically you're going to take. So it's relatively easy, I guess, to work with them. It's just like a lot of stuff going on to get it through. And we're really lucky. Like we've got a great relationship with our manufacturing partner who gets audited and regulated by the TGA on a regular basis. So they have to deal with that side of things, and we kind of just have to sign lots of bits of paperwork, really.
Yeah, nice, man, nice. So what products do you sell?
So we've got sort of an original sunscreen. It's just your normal sunscreen, SPF 50, 4 hours water resistant, face, body, arms, legs. But it's a really gentle, natural formula, so it's great for sensitive skin, for kids. It's not going to sting your eyes, that sort of thing. We've got a beautiful tinted sunscreen. I personally love it on my face, mainly because it blends in with my stubble. I find our sort of original sunscreen can leave a little white line sometimes. Ladies love it because they can sort of pop it on first thing they've done their SPF. If they want to add other sort of beauty or skincare products, they can pop it on top. So that's really cool. We've got Australia's first vegan surf sink. So it's a light tan color, super thick and sticky. Just like whack it on, go paddle for hours, and be pretty safe and smart. Got a gorgeous face oil that's made in collaboration with an Indigenous mob down here. So we've got a really good friend, Lionel Launch, who runs an organization called Living Culture, does amazing guided bushwalks. And every time we catch up, he's like, oh, guys, you should use this. It's really high in vitamin A, or you should use this. It's really good in vitamin C. And we kind of did some research on the stuff he was telling us. And we're like, you know what, Lionel, you're onto something. Let's make a product. So we've got this beautiful like face oil, face serum, really high in vitamins A, C, and E, using native Australian botanicals. So perfect to restore and replenish skin after a big day in the sun or under aircon. We've got a bit of a mermaid hair serum, so great for people with like longer hair if you're in the pool or the ocean, just to protect your locks. We've got like a face scrub, cleanser, and toner all in one, bit of a light powder, just kind of rub it in your palms and exfoliate or leave as a mask. And then we've got some super exciting new products joining the lineup in the not too distant future, hopefully.
Oh, mate, I am looking forward to hearing from that. Massive fan of your zinc. It's not as like clunky as other brands. I find that it was a lot like smoother to put on. So we've had nothing but rain for 3 months. So keen to try out the sunscreen very soon when summer rolls back around. But for now, yeah, I've given the zinc a crack and it's really good. So you're onto something.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so good to hear your feedback. We're pretty stoked with it. Yeah.
What's your favorite product? Is it the tinted sunscreen?
Look, I'm a big fan of it. I think probably the original sunscreen, just because we spend so much of our life outdoors, and it's just like a go-to. You know, like science, skincare practitioners are kind of all harking on about how important getting your SPF on your skin is, and certainly like a lot of the old boys we surf with as well, you know, in their late 60s, 70s, who are starting to get melanomas and stuff like that cut out, saying, you know, I wish I'd put more sunscreen on. So yeah, that original sunscreen, just whack it on if it's like a mild day in the sun, and great for like face and neck. When I'm wet, obviously in Vico, we're always in wetsuits pretty much. So yeah, that's my go-to.
I think that's one thing that when like the oldies, everyone says, like my grandparents say it as well. They're like, man, you got to put sunscreen on. Like, look what's happening to me. We didn't have it like that available back in those days. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, like, especially as you know, like we spend so much time outdoors in the surf or like the snow, whatever it might be. And you just kind of like take it for granted that you're fine. And then you speak to these older guys and girls in the surf or whatever, and they're all having a pretty rough time with melanomas and impacts and damage to their skin. It's like, yeah, it's so easy just to whack it on. I forget fairly regularly, but it's so easy just to like chuck it on and, you know, look after yourself, because
the snow's a big one. Like always get like the panda eyes and stuff, like massive one there.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like the sun's rays get harsher the higher elevation as well. So not just like the reflection of the bright white snow doing the damage, but just kind of like getting those like hundreds of meters of elevation and altitude going can increase the impact of the sun's rays. So yeah, so important to chuck it on.
So as on a sunscreen sort of perspective, SPF, like what is it, and like what should we be aiming for?
Yeah, so SPF is your sun protection factor, and it's all about, like, I guess how much the product is going to protect you from the sun's rays. What you really want to be looking for is broad spectrum UVA, UVB protection, because some sunscreens are only going to protect you from UVA, and it's often the UVB that can do more damage. And like an SPF 50 is pretty much like the highest level we go to in Australia. It only offers like a few % more protection than an SPF 30, but like it's worth it to have that extra protection just to keep yourself sun safe and smart, and look after you. So yeah, broad spectrum UVA, UVB, and SPF 50. Matt, I'm so sorry. We're just getting a delivery of some pallets, so we're just gonna there's gonna be loads of noise in the background. Just 1 second. Are you okay to deal with it, Dill? Can you grab it for me? Is that right? Thanks so much. I just go hide around the corner. Sorry, Matt.
Nah, you're right, man. You're right. Do what you got to do.
Nah, all good. Got a buddy Dylan in the warehouse building a tiny house over winter, so he's going to handle this, thankfully.
Yeah,
right,
sweet.
Sorry about that.
No, you're right, man. You're right for sure. So my next question is the environmental aspect when it comes to your facility. What have you got in place?
So in our warehouse, everything we do as a business is carbon neutral. We offset all our emissions through a crew called Green Fleet. So they plant native vegetation, Australia, New Zealand wide, which is really cool. And that covers like everything that we do, from shipping products to us, shipping to customers, running the warehouse, our staff commuting to and from. All these things is offset, which is really good. All our products are vegan and cruelty free. So really important. There's no animal testing involved, no animal products as well. We are... I can tell you, I guess it's... Matt, when's this going to go out? I can drop a pretty big secret, hey?
You can drop a big secret because it's going to go out in about 3 weeks, I think, 2 weeks.
Amazing. So on Sunday, we are going to announce that we are the world's first certified palm oil-free sunscreen company. So that's been like 2 years in the making. It's an incredibly lengthy process, and we're so excited about it. But yeah, the news drops on Sunday, and then Monday we'll be doing like big hoo-ha all over our socials. So excited to be the world's first certified palm oil-free sunscreen company. Yeah, and then obviously there's no plastic involved in any of our packaging. All our sunscreens are screw top tins, hair serum, and face scrub, things like that are in screw top tins. All our shipping's done plastic free as well. So really trying to live by our mantra as a business, which is protecting people and the planet. And that comes into every decision we make on our business, about products we want to do, the packaging we want to use, how we operate as a business. So that's pretty important.
Well, congratulations, mate. That's got to be good news. You've got to be stoked with that.
Matt, we are so excited. Hey, it's been so long coming, and yeah, to be world first as well, it's pretty darn epic.
It's got to be good for the resume, mate.
Yeah. It's, like, it's good for all these things, like to sing and dance about, and hopefully like encourage other businesses to go down that palm oil free journey that we've done. But also it's just living our values, like we were certified palm oil free at the beginning. We're always really clear about what's going on. We don't tell any lies. One of our ingredient suppliers changed and they couldn't verify it was palm oil free. So we kind of basically off our own back gave up our palm oil free status because we knew we weren't anymore. Or we couldn't prove that we were, sorry. And we've just been working on our manufacturer and our ingredient suppliers really close over the last couple of years to get all that paperwork and get it done.
That's good, man. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Really excited.
So you donate 10% of your profit to Living Culture?
Yeah, we're actually going to hit 50% of profits this year and look to continue that. So some of our key charitable partners are Living Culture, who I touched on earlier. They're sort of an Indigenous mob down on the peninsula. Really, really awesome work, promoting Indigenous knowledge and culture, doing Yidaki healings, doing guided walks, bush meditations, things like that. We work with Thin Green Line as well, donate to them. They work with ranger programs all over the world, sort of helping work with those who protect nature, which falls really neatly into protecting people and the planet. We've got collaborations going with Sea Shepherd and Surf Rider as well, so a portion of profits go to them. And we're really proud as well to kind of have this like charity donation slush fund, I guess, for emergencies. So we're able to like send a load of money over to the flood impacted areas for humanitarian wildlife charities. And then the devastating bushfires a couple of years ago, we were able to chuck a fair amount of money over to some good crews looking to rehab wildlife, and save wildlife. So pretty proud of that lot too.
It's really good to see, like you said, you are what you say is what you are. You know what I mean? Like you all about helping people and helping the environment, and you're actually doing it. So good to see, man.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's really like, it's a huge part of who we are as individuals. Sacha and I always look to, like donate time and money as individuals. So it was always going to flow onto the business as well. And, like we never started the business with the idea of like, oh, let's get rich and do this. We were like, hey, let's create a product that is better for people and better for the planet. And it just it's always felt right to try and give away as much money as we can. Irritates our accountants sometimes, but
that's only numbers, mate. Only numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how many stock S do you have? And super stoked to be one of them for sure.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's actually really, really hard to keep track of our stockists. There's somewhere over like 500 or 600 around the country. We supply to probably like 300 directly, and then we've got distribution partners in every state who sort of carry our product and go to stores to get it stocked. And they cover, I'm not quite sure how many hundreds, but they've obviously represent lots of brands. They don't perhaps have time to like, oh, hey, Tom, we've just got South Coast Kook stocking your product. So we tend to lose track of it, but the majority of sort of independent health food, bulk food, plastic-free, vegan, healthy living stores should be carrying Sunbutter products.
Yeah, well, I stumbled across you guys, like you said, the power of social media and Instagram. There's not really many like vegan friendly zincs down this way at all. So second I saw that, I was like, I've got to jump on this. These guys are doing good stuff. I did a bit of research into this because I wanted to just, do a podcast episode on you. And yeah, I was super stoked that exactly what you said. Like, you guys are a great company, and I'm super happy to have you guys a part of my online store.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Matt. We're stoked to be there. Love the range of goodies you sell, and yeah, just really proud, I guess, to be there. And hopefully, I guess really what we're hoping is like we're successful as a business, that we can do all these good things, but also like hopefully inspire other businesses that like doing good things for planet isn't just like a fad or a craze. Like it actually makes sense. and you know, it's better for business and better for the planet. Hello, come on up, come and say hi to the podcast guy. Come on, Gracie. Up. No, just had a dog come and visit. Sorry.
Doggo friendly show for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Busy just checking for like snacks around the warehouse.
So you got a couple of ambassadors and team riders, I saw. Do you want to name some of them or do a couple of drops?
It's growing a lot. You know, we're so stoked with some of the crew we get to work with. Love working with Molly Picklum and India Robinson, both I think super exciting up and coming young Aussie surfers. So sad for them, so tough. They just missed out on the WSL's mid-season cut, but I think we can expect big things from them in the future. And then, we've got some like awesome, just really should be on the WSL, just missing out here and there. Riders like Kalani Ball, Philippa Anderson, some super young, exciting riders like Nixie Ryan, Oceana Rogers, Sacha Baker. And then we've got some awesome Groms who are over in the World Championships at the moment, El Salvador. People like Izzy Campbell, Willow Hardy, Gabby Spake. Welcome Michaela Davis-Meehan, who's on the like World Freeride Big Mountain Tour, and Perry Roberts, who's the world #1 kite surfer. And there's some really, really cool crew we get to work with. We just going to start working with B. Conroy as well, who's another Victorian who's pretty phenomenal longboarder and log rider. Got to see her in action at state titles that Sacha was competing in, and B's a pretty phenomenal rider. So just love working with all these like awesome athletes who, you know, are great ambassadors for our products and for the planet as well. So super exciting.
Oceana's from Kiama, so shout out. I want to track her down and try and get her on the show, mate. So watch this space.
Such a proper, such a good rider as well. It's so cool. Just even in my like recent time as a surfer, to like see the level of surfing rise and like the stuff these young kids are doing. There's a few young kids on the peninsula we love working with as well. The Hickson kids, we've known them for years, since, you know, they were tiny and the dad was pushing them in, and now like Lucas is throwing these like mad aerials, and Zara's like national under 16, under 14, under 16 champion, and it's just wild, the level of surfing, and it's so exciting to watch it.
Do you like reach out to them, or is this some people that see themselves aligned with your brand and sort of jump on?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. We get like a fair amount of like awesome shredders that reach out. They're like, hey, you know, I'm vegan, or I'm like really passionate about ocean conservation. You know, I'd love to represent your band, and then we kind of like have a chat and make sure it aligns. And then some of the others we've reached out to are kind of, you know, keen to work with like these real up and coming young Groms as well as like people like Sacha Baker, Nixie Ryan, Oceana Rogers, like who are just so close to pushing through on that QS series. And just like really show like we believe in them, and that, you know, we're so proud of like what they achieve and want to encourage them, that, you know, there's anything we can do to help on that journey. So some of those we've definitely reached out to as well.
Mate, I went and watched Oceana. She rips, man. Yeah. She's not far off.
No, it's just wild. It's just so wild how good these kids are, and like young adults as well, you know, like just incredible.
I noticed this morning as well, you're giving away a ski trip to Bulla.
Yeah, pretty fun giveaway. Just kind of trying to encourage people, like we were touching on earlier, to get your sunscreen on when you're up at the mountains as well, like you need it. And Gracie, you want to say hi? You want to just say hi to me? Hi, this is Gracie. Gracie, this is Matt.
Hey, Gracie.
Good girl. Thanks, Gracie. And just like really encouraging people to think about like what they're doing and where they need to be wearing sunscreen. So we've got a pretty good giveaway going. Just got to check in your email address. There's some awesome goggles being thrown in by Trigger Brothers, who are a Victorian Peninsula surf store. Really good shapers, really good crew. And Yuki Threads as well, an Australian-owned sort of snow apparel brand. Really cool crew as well, chucking in pretty good-looking gift voucher. And then we're throwing in sunscreen, skincare, and a mountain pass and a ski pass for Bulla. So yeah, definitely worth entering.
Yeah, jump on to the mailing list and sign up, and fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I always get cross about these like giveaways we do, because I want to win them. Like, I want to go to Bulla, but I'm gonna have to pay my own way. I think it'd be pretty sad if one of the founders won the giveaway.
Yeah, imagine that you won the trip.
Oh, congrats to founder Tom, who won our giveaway. It's not fixed at all, I promise. Yeah.
Now, you touched on it a bit before, but I'm going to try and poke a little bit more. What's planned for the future? What products and stuff should we be seeing, or is it like locked tight?
Look, it's not super tight. I'm not going to give you too many details. We're not looking to be like one of those giant skincare brands that just makes a product for everything. We love our existing sunscreens. We love our formulas there. We've been listening to like a bit of customer feedback, so we're just like looking at other packaging options, how we can keep things plastic free, but perhaps make it even more friendly for families, especially young families. So we're going to have some of those solutions coming out, and then we just like to, excuse me, like to solidify that skincare range to things that we feel people need. You know, like we all would love to have the best intentions and, you know, put your sunscreen on the backs of your hands when you're going for a surf, and you got your surf sink on your face, but you get carried away and you stay out for like 3, 4, 5 hours because it's so good. So we just want to have a few products in there that like really help your skin restore and repair itself after like big ocean or big sun exposure sessions or whatever. Just kind of like a nice little complimentary range, and then be done.
Yeah, sweet. Well, let's plug the socials. So obviously Sunbutter is your Instagram, and definitely like jump on your website. Even though that I stock your stuff, jump on your website because you've got the full range. I've only just sort of picked and choose a couple of things that I think will reach my audience, but yeah, jump onto Sunbutter website and check it out. And Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, so Instagram, Facebook are at Sunbutter Skincare. Can jump on there, either Facey or Insta. There's a YouTube channel with like barely any content, but we're hoping to change that. That's Sunbutter Skincare as well. And then yeah, just sunbutter.com.au for the website for anything that you're not stocking, Matt.
Yeah. And reach out for any questions. I'm sure you guys will answer it when it comes to like what's in the product, this and that. You'll like be able to help out with, because skin allergies and stuff like that. So you'll be all over that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super transparent as a business, so always answer things as honestly as we can and as much detail as we can. So yeah, chuck a DM our way or an email, hello@sunbutter.com.au. That'll head towards Amy, our awesome customer service staff member. And yeah, she'll give an answer, or if she's not 100% sure, she'll send it my way or Sacha's way, and we'll get back to you.
Awesome, mate. Well, I've got one last question. What does surfing mean to you?
Oh, mate. It's been such a wild journey. Like when I started surfing, I was really grumpy. Like I grew up snowboarding a lot and just thought I'd be really good at it. And I found it so infuriating I wasn't good at it. And now I've just found this, like over the years, I've reached this super peaceful, content level that like I go to surf for like that bit of therapy, that endorphin rush for a good wave, that like hold down and rolling from the waves when you get it wrong, and that kind of like lesson that you are so fragile on this giant planet of ours, and the ocean really is in control of what we do. But yeah, just go there for that like real calm release, endorphin rush, and kind of, I guess, like a bit of a cleanse as well. Just dip in the freezing ocean and wash away stress of the week or any, you know, issues or problems that are popping up. It's like a great therapy and a great release of tension or angst, and great source of joy.
Yeah, nice, man. Well, 100%, I appreciate you giving me some time. I know you're a busy guy, and yeah, everyone, like all my listeners, jump on my online store, but obviously also check out yours for the full range. And yeah, you guys are good people doing good stuff, so definitely check it out.
Awesome, Matt. Thanks so much, mate. Stoked to be on your podcast, stoked to be in your store, and yes, stoked to be part of the South Coast Kook family.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I'll have your stuff on there for a long time, I reckon.
Beautiful. Yeah, cheers, mate. Stoked to be there.